Hey guys, PrinceofMacedon here, doing an Empire Total War online multiplayer battle. This is the USA versus Prussia battle. I command the Americans, and my opponent is OM General Barca in command of the Prussians. Anyways, my opponent wanted to set the rules at 1 unit only, but I asked for a compromise. I asked for a 2-unit limit. So he agreed. So I came out with 2 units of guards, and we're going to see what my opponent brought. You can see right out there in the open, that's 1 unit of Prussian Jaegers, and because they're not hidden, that means his general is with him. But if you'll notice, you'll see that one of his units is hidden. So when I first saw that hidden unit, I thought it was another Prussian Jaeger unit, but it's actually a unit of the Free Corps. So basically, my opponent brought a bunch of irregular troops, and I brought a bunch of conventional troops. And you can see that my opponent deployed towards the very back of the map here, so I have a very long march. He moved forward a little bit, but not much. So anyways, I'm going to start my slow march towards my opponent. And as I got closer, I peeled off one of my guard units, and I was going to go for a flank attack onto the flanks of his Free Corps unit. And in case you don't know what the guards look like up close, this is what they look like up close. Very sweet. Anyway, because of how far my opponent deployed, it took me about 3 to 4 minutes to get to my opponent. He moved forward a few yards, going by the scale, and as you'll notice, his Free Corps get off the first shots on my guys, and they took out 7 of my guard units right there. But I'm going to keep pressing forward here, because I know that in a bayonet fight, my guys should be able to destroy those skirmish type units. Now if you look here, my opponent started to withdraw, and this will be the first of many withdrawals made by my opponent in this battle. So basically what you're in for, this is going to be a conventional versus a guerrilla type army here. And in fighting a guerrilla type army, basically it's going to be the persistence of the conventional force which will win out against the irregular guerrilla type army. But if you're not persistent, then the guerrilla type units will wear you out and destroy you. Alright, here finally I get my first shots off. For some reason the audio got messed up here, so you can't hear my gunfire. But there I took out 6 of his Prussian Jaegers. But he's going to continue his withdrawal into the Prussian hinterland. But here I am, I'm persisting. I'm going to keep pressing forward. And here these guys are going to reload, and they get some really good shots on my guys. Look, my guard units are down to 99 men. Just keep pressing forward, just keep pressing forward. That's what I kept telling myself. But if I let my opponent keep taking shots off of me like that, then I will slowly die in an attritional battle. So I am seeking the decisive engagement here. So it's kind of interesting. This is a bit like the Seminole Wars. The Seminoles refused to stand toe-to-toe against the Americans. But the Americans tried their best to seek a decisive engagement against the Seminoles. And because his guys are faster, I decided not to pursue the bayonet charge at this range. Instead, I halted my troops and got some shots off at those Prussian Jaegers again. And with that volley, they are down to 47 Prussian Jaegers. Now they're down to 43 after I got more shots. Here you go. My guys are getting closer. And here his guys are prepared, so they get some shots off. So it looks like his Prussian Jaegers took this unit down to, I believe, 88 troops in this guard unit. So I'm getting worn out here, both physically and in terms of fatigue. So here my guys stop, take aim, and they are targeting that last unit of Prussian Jaegers right there. And let's see, yeah, they get some shots off, and now that Prussian Jaeger unit is down to 40 men. So, I have more troops to spare, but I don't really like this attritional battle going on right now. I believe I have over 200 units, my opponent has over 100 units. Alright, here I halt my troops, because I've realized that one of his units is in range of my muskets, and I don't think he realizes it. So I halt my guys, and now I get some shots off at his Prussian Jaegers again. But unfortunately, my guys missed all of those Jaegers in that volley. Alright, looks like we are 20 minutes into the battle here. As you can see, I condensed this battle a lot. If I played the whole thing, this battle would have been over 25 minutes long, or about 25 minutes long. Alright, there my opponent made a mistake again. His troops halted before they were out of range of my muskets, and it looks like I managed to drop 6 units of the Free Corps. Finally, I drew some blood from the Free Corps. Alright, here I decided to stop chasing my opponent, because my guys were both of my troops were exhausted, and his troops were only very tired or something. So I said, hey, why am I chasing this guy? I'm just going to stop here. And I wanted to see if my opponent would actually fight for once, but looks like he's going to keep moving away from me. So I'm going to take my sweet time, and I'm going to let my troops rest. See his troops? His guys are very tired, whereas my guys are exhausted. And there they are, they just take a kneel. And I was hoping my opponent would actually fight me, because he can use the range and then get a little closer and fire at me. I think I camped my troops here for about 5 minutes, if not a little bit more. And while I was resting, my opponent did not make a single move. But that's good though, because it let my units rest up, because they were exhausted, but I waited until they were completely fresh. And here I realized my opponent's troops did not recover. They are exhausted, and they are exhausted. So I think all that automatic running away played more havoc on his troops than mine. And I think that's karma working against my opponent for running away like that. And when I saw that, I told my opponent, hey, I dare you to keep running away. Because when I saw my opponent's fatigue level, I realized that my guys were actually faster now than his guys. Even though his guys are skirmish troops, my troops will actually run like Olympians now. And this was all part of my strategy of persistence in my battle against this guerrilla-type opponent. Alright, so I'm going to march steadily towards my opponent. And here I'm aided in the fact that that my opponent can't run away anymore. So now there's only 3 scenarios that could possibly happen with my opponent because of his fatigue level. 1, if he leaves his guys in skirmish mode, they run a great risk of routing from the battlefield because they're exhausted. Or 2, if he tries to run away, and if they don't rout from running away, then they will not be able to get away from my troops, meaning this will turn into a bayonet fight. Or 3, my opponent stands his ground, and they go right into the bayonet against my bayonet troops. And in all 3 scenarios, my opponent loses. So this battle is pretty much over at this point. So he gets some shots off, it pretty much decimates my ranks there. But that's fine, because I know that the bayonet is coming soon, and his guys do not want the bayonet. So it looks like his guys are going to try to run away, and I know that's not possible anymore. And that is the strategy of persistence. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case it works. Alright, so his guys are scattering in different directions, but this time I'm using a deliberate march in order to cut off his troops here. At this point my opponent realizes the futility of his situation, so he's going to turn back, and now he's forced into the kind of fight that he can't win. So those are his Prussian Jaeger, and they will not last very long in that fight. And now I'm going to go up against his Free Corps with my other unit of guards. And I don't know anything about the capabilities of the Free Corps because I've never seen them in action, but I know that if they are skirmish type units, then they should not theoretically last very long in a fight against guard units. So there his general dies. I think his general was with his Jaeger, and his Jaeger are pretty much gone from the battlefield. Alright, here's a close-up of the melee action between the guards and the Free Corps. And it looks kind of like a pirate convention. Alright, so this is that. I was actually hoping for an actual battle between two bigger armies, but this is interesting just because it shows, I guess, like a guerrilla type hit-and-run type action versus the conventional type action. Alright, so his guys are starting to break down, and they finally start to rout. So this will be the end of the battle. And there's all the bodies on the battlefield. Alright, you can see the losses. I actually took more losses than my opponent, but I had more troops to begin with. And if the battle didn't end, then my guys would have continued to attack and destroy the enemy's skirmish units. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this battle.